Hello everyone and welcome to another card video. Today I'm playing with the new Happy Bird Day stamp set and the Geometrics Designer paper pad, both by Your Next Stamp. And so I really wanted to paper piece these birds, and this paper pad is fabulous. It's my favorite one by Your Next Stamp, and I'm going to cut or take a couple pieces from it to do some paper piecing with these really geometric shaped birds. I felt it was easier to do my stamping with an acrylic block, so I have, I believe it's like a 4x4 or 3x3 inch, I'm not quite sure, but it's like the Stampin' Up! D block or C block or some kind of block. And I am applying my first bird. We're going to use Memento Tuxedo black ink, only because last time I used it, I realized I needed to re-ink it, so I'm adding a little bit of ink. Anywho, I'm using this ink because I also want to use the Memento Tuxedo black marker as well. I'm going to have a seat with my old body, or what feels like an old body. And we're going to ink up our stamp, and we're going to align it on the geometric pattern as straight as possible. Now, when I do paper piecing, I don't want the pattern to show. Okay, so let me try to explain this to the best of my ability. I'm lining up the pattern 5 different times so that I can have 5 different cuts of the pattern, so that when I paper piece my bird, it doesn't look like the pattern paper. At least not this time. I want the pattern to be sporadic on the bird and the image of the bird to stand out a little bit more. So this is what I do to paper piece the bird, and it helps me like line up each part of the bird that I'm going to paper piece on my pattern paper, so I know exactly what parts I'm going to cut out and place on my finished paper pieced bird. I'm going to clean my stamp off really well. I'm actually gonna fussy cut, guys. Can you even believe it? I'm gonna fussy cut. It doesn't feel the same when you're paper piecing. I don't know. I'm grabbing a Copic multi-liner that I just somehow broke. I don't know. But let's put that back together. And then we're going to outline the parts that I'm going to cut out. This just helps me remember which part of the bird I'm going to cut out for my paper pieced bird. Now, you could have 5 different paper pieced birds by doing this. So you're not wasting the paper. You literally will be able to have 5 different paper pieced birds by doing it this way. So here he is, sneaking in my videos again. Hi, Tim. But I'm fussy cutting these parts and pieces of these birds, what I've just outlined, and then I'm taking the Memento Tuxedo black marker and the brush end of the marker, and I'm outlining, holding with a little tweezers, and I'm outlining the black lines because I fussy cut and I'm not really great at this, so I outline the black of the lines so that it kind of looks better. It kind of cleans up your edges a little bit. So I'm taking each piece that I cut out from the bird. So this is the wing that I've lined up. I'm gonna cut that out and then take the tweezers to hold the little piece. I still end up getting lines of marker on my hands. Every time I do this, I get lines of marker everywhere.
I have an idea.
But this was a great idea. I grabbed my ramekin so that I could put all the parts and pieces of my birds because I felt like I was going to throw something that was important away, so I needed to contain it. So now I've chosen this red pattern paper from the Geometrics paper pad, and we're doing the same exact thing, just with a different bird image. This one is a bird flying through the air. So I'm doing the same exact thing, cutting it out, using the marker to outline the outside of the image. Oh, there's Uncle Mike. Hi, Uncle Mike. So I ended up doing 3 paper pieced birds from 3 different patterned papers from that same paper pack. And I grabbed a piece of Neenah paper, and I'm trying to decide which gray cardstock I want to use as the base of my card front. So for now, I've grabbed Sahara Sand. I believe it's from Stampin' Up. And I'm trying to make basically like a ground for my birds, for my scene, I guess. I'm taking the only corner chomper that I can find. I don't know where any of my corner rounders are. I think this is like a 1/4 inch. It's like not the one I wanted, but I'm making a line to represent where my ground's going to show on that piece of Neenah. Okay, so I'm loading it up in my Misty. So I've got the Neenah, it's a Neenah 110, and I'm arranging the images on the background where I want to stamp them. Okay, so I'm stamping them in the same ink that I stamped out my patterned paper pieces, and I'm putting them on the background where I want these birds to live on my card. Now I'm thinking maybe I don't want the Sahara Sand color so much. So I grabbed some Earl Grey by Tailored Expressions, and I'm also stamping the wishing you a happy bird day sentiment with some VersaMark ink. And we are going to, we're going to use white. We're just going to use white embossing powder because I couldn't think of anything better. So we got Reinker white embossing powder. Honestly, do you guys ever really get sick of me doing the same thing over and over again? Because I don't. Like, I seriously don't. I love white heat embossing my sentiments on cardstock. I love it. I love white, and then I love black, and then I love gray, and it looks great. So I'm not sick of it. I'm going to use some Reinker Multimedia Matte Liquid Adhesive that I've put into one of a Lurlock syringe, which I sell in my Etsy shop if you guys are interested. And I'm just putting the liquid adhesive all over the bird. I have covered the bird with liquid adhesive, and now I'm placing my pattern paper pieces back where they were cut from. And now because I've scattered that pattern, it is a mix of that pattern on my bird. You don't look at it and then see the pattern paper, which if you're going for that look, that's great, but I wanted different patterns. I wanted my bird image to stand out. So that's what it looks like now. I think it looks fabulous. Now I've got the rest of my birdies to put together, and I'm going to do that using my super crafty powers to do that, both the red one and the other yellow birdie. And I also stamped that little music note piece from the same stamp set. Happy birthday. And so yeah, I'm still hemming and hawing over the 2 grays, but ultimately I picked the Sahara Sand. And so now I have to re-emboss my image. But that's okay, because I have a surprise for you at the end of the video. Don't get your hopes up. It's not that great. It's just I made another card. So there's a second card that I will show you at the end of the video. So I've grabbed a little bit more of that Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the solid balloon image from the Happy Birthday stamp set. I'm going to apply Distress Oxide ink in Candied Apple just to the balloon top, not to the string. So I'm using my sponge dauber to seclude the ink to just the top of the balloon so that I can stamp the string in a different color. It's okay, it's not perfect. You know, this is handmade, baby. It's perfect just the way that it is. So I cleaned off my stamp really well so that I could apply that, use that dewdrop, the tip of the dewdrop, to apply ink to just the string. You could also use that Memento Tuxedo black marker. And stamp it down, and look, I have a red balloon with a black string. It's beautiful, it's marvelous in all of its glory. I'm using the coordinating die to cut it out. Hey look, there's Dex. You gotta be quick with that one. Those other 2 are quite slow, but to catch the little Dexter, it's quite hard. So I've practically put this whole card together, and I didn't tell you at all how I did it, but now I'm figuring, I'm taking the Copic multiliner and I'm coloring in their beaks just black. I didn't want to color them or shade them. And then I'm adding a little bit of black Nuvo, this is Ebony Black Nuvo drops to their eyes. I just used tape runner adhesive to adhere my sentiment panel and then popped it up with some craft foam and double-sided tape. I'm using some gumdrops, some Euronext stamp gumdrops to enhance the flavor of my card by putting them behind the balloon and down below. I think I put a red one and a tan one and this yellow one, and then I did end up picking one of those hearts, one of those fabulous yellow hearts, and put that guy on. But here, it turned out really good, right? So I liked it so much that I did this one. I just Copic colored these guys, so it's a little bit softer of a card. I really like them both. I think they both turned out really well. They're different, but they're both great. And so I'm using some Nuvo Crystal Glaze on the balloon. And then this is like quite liquidy, so I kind of spread it around with my micro brush, usually with my head in the way. But this is how the cards turned out. I'd like to know what your opinion is. Which card do you like and why? I'd love to know. Leave it in the comments below. You can find me or Your Next Stamp on social media. We would love to connect with you there as well. And I'll talk to you next time. There's nothing like losing a few pounds of summer weight, right?
Yeah.
You ready to get in? Get in. No, you cannot sit up front. Dude. You know you can't sit there, right? Yeah, sit in your seat.
My shoe almost got off when I was fixing. I want a balloon!
That's gonna... We'll play with them when you get home, okay?
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a water balloon fight. You want to throw one?
A little beach in the middle of our forest. And his doghouse. Woof, woof. Do you want your sunglasses on? Cool, dude.
This is my favorite color.
Summer school. That's what you remind me of.
I'm going to put as much warm water as I can into those so it doesn't feel so cold.
I thought the pool water is good though.
It gets cold.
Put the hose down a little. Closer to you?
Closer to me?
Yeah.
Looks like a giant weed. Look at Tony.
There we go.
Okay, now it's time.
I have my phone.
You.
I've got a camera in my hand. All right, go ahead.